Okay, gang. Today we're going to explore the Jimi Hendrix, John Mayer type of chordal playing, and we'll introduce something called pentatonic fourths. So we're going to do a lot of different voicings and so forth, and we'll do pentatonic fourths, a little bit in your trick bag. Now, not all this video was recorded at once. I'll let you guess what came first. But we'll do a performance about 2 minutes, and then we'll break it down after that. Okay, see you in just a second. Alright, well, we are back, and hopefully you can guess what came first. If you can't, I don't know what to say to you. Alright, well, we're going to do this up close, but just before we do, a couple of notes or pointers or whatever. First thing, this tune, or what I was playing, was in the key of E, and that's kind of like a magic key for a lot of this playing. First, because you can play a lot of open string chords. You leave a lot of open strings there. And of course, Hendrix played a lot of things in E flat, but really he tuned down a half step, so he was really playing things in the key of E from a guitar perspective. It happens to be the tone perspective or the pitch perspective is E flat because he tuned down a half step. But John Mayer does that too, so you'll find a lot of songs in the key of E. That one's in the key of E, so forth. Alright, second thing is the voicings. I'm using a lot of 3-note voicings, and we'll get specific when we get to it, but a lot of them are on just the 6th string, the 4th string, and the 3rd string with the 5th string deadened. And that's kind of a technique from jazz, particularly swing jazz, although I'm not using it in a jazzy sense here at all. The nice thing about it is you can finger them very easily and quickly and move around, and it still sounds kind of rich and lush. So that's the second thing. The third thing is fourths, pentatonic fourths. So we're going to show you that technique. You can do that sort of sounding thing. And I know for you sticklers out there, there's one perfect third in there. They're not all really fourths, but they're called fourths, so there you have it. And it's a technique that Mayer uses it a lot, and Curtis Mayfield uses it a lot. So there you go. 3 techniques we'll cover as we go through this. Let's break it down now, okay? Enough yakking. Let's break it down. All right, gang, let's break this down. There's a lot here to cover, so we'll talk about the song structure and then we'll talk about some of the basics of how to think about this and how to execute it. And then we'll talk about some of the gravy, the chord voicings and the fourths as licks. All right, so let's start out with the chord structure. There's basically two parts to this song, or this little thing I'm playing. Here's the first part. That's the first part. And here's the second part. It's kind of a walk-up. All right. So let's cover the first part first. Makes some sense. And for this, I think there's some really key concepts in terms of thinking about it and how to execute it. So let's start with that one. Now, basically, here's the way to think about it. At least it works for me. The song structure is basically three chords. An E chord that you hang on for a long time. A C sharp minor. And B. Back to that E that you hang on for a long time. So it's basically a 1-6-5 progression. But of course, we're not playing that E and just hanging on it. We're playing it a little bit differently. So two key concepts to think about is one is the chord that you're using. And by the way, this works for many different shapes, for all the different shapes. But we're going to do it for this shape, which in caged is the A shape. The E, the one I want you to think about is the E with the root on the 5th string, 7th fret, and then on the 4, 3, and 2 strings, we're playing the 9th fret. Okay, that's the chord form. And now, of course, we are not using that 7th. We're going to use something else. Now, if you think about just the three, that little triad on the 4, 3, and 2 strings, 9th fret, and then instead of playing it with your 3rd, play it with your 1st. Okay? Now the second concept to overlay over that chord is this. It's the pentatonic scale, the major pentatonic scale. And by the way, all this stuff really works well in the major keys. It doesn't work as well in minor keys. But it can be done with some minor 7th playing. Okay. Anyway, back to the regularly scheduled program. Let's look at the pentatonic major scale. This is an E major pentatonic, okay? All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to try and overlay that as we play that chord. Okay, so we're going to try and overlay that scale. Quite do it when you get to the 6th, but all the other notes work well. Now, if we just maintain on the 3rd, if we think about playing that pentatonic scale on the 3rd string, 4th string, and 5th string, we get this. I should say, each time I'm playing that, I'm only hitting whatever string I'm hitting and the string above it. So when I'm playing this, I'm really only playing the 11th fret on the 3rd and the 10th and the 9th fret on the 2nd. I'm not playing the rest of the chord. Likewise, when I'm playing this, I'm only playing the 11th on the 4th string and the 9th on the 3rd. Now we add in the hammer and pull off. Voila, instant Hendrix type of chord playing. That's the way you think about it. At least that's the way I think about it when I'm playing that. I think about playing a simple chord and then playing the pentatonic scale around it. And I find what notes work and what notes don't. It's that simple. Like I said, this works in any position, so if you want to take this E triad right down here, work in there too. We're going to focus only on this up here. All right, so that's the E chord. That's what we're doing there. So you hit a drone note. All right, now here's the second part of it. All right, so this one, I'm playing a trick that works a lot in this sort of gospel R&B, and that is, instead of playing the 5 chord directly, which is a B, what I do is I can play a slash chord. So I'll put instead of playing B, I play a B with one whole step up in the bass. So in this case, a C sharp in the bass. So this is a B with a C sharp in the bass. Nice sounding chord. All right. And I finger that basically. This one is, if you can see it right there, I'm playing on the 6th string, I'm playing the 9th, I'm deadening the 5th, on the 4th I'm playing the 9th, and I'm playing the 8th on the 3rd, 7th on the 2nd, deadening the top. That little suspension right there is just our favorite E chord right there. It's really a C sharp minor, E, highly related chords. I'm just playing this little dyad here, 4th string, 9th fret, 3rd string, 9th fret, and giving it some vibrato. Okay, and that's the first part. Second part, all right, and this involves those voicings that I was telling you about, the 3-note voicings on the 6th string, 4th string, and 3rd string. So let's start out with this one. Basically, all this is doing is walking up the E major scale, but using harmonized chords. So if you watch my video on the harmonized major scale, if you haven't, you should really watch it, because it helps you think about these things. But the harmonized major scale is going to start with an E major, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A major, B 7th, C sharp minor, D sharp half diminished, and of course then back to E. All right, and all I'm doing is I'm walking up there, and I'm using the fact that I've got E to play these top 2 strings. Sounds great. All right, so let's start out with this one, F sharp minor. So the minor form of these chords, and by the way, this works in any key. You can't use the top 2 strings in any key, but you can use these chords in any key. You can use this minor form. The minor form is all lined up sort of parallel on the fretboard as you're going vertically. So F sharp minor would be 2 on the 6th, 2 on the 4th, 2 on the 3rd. You deaden the 5th. Okay. And of course, I'm using the 2 open strings in this particular instance, so it sounds like this. Now, the next chord's a G sharp minor. We keep it the same, right? So same form, we just slide it up 2 frets. All right, the next form's an A major. Here's the major form that's going to work for you. So on the 6th string, we're playing the 5th fret. On the 4th string, we're playing the 4th fret. And on the 3rd string, we're playing the 6th fret. So you can hear that's got a major tonality as opposed to this, which has a minor tonality. All right, so here's the major tonality. So that's A major. Of course, I'm hitting the top 2 strings again, letting that ring out. All right, next chord's a B7. Here's how you play the 7th. So imagine that you've got Well, you take that minor and you move the 3rd fret up 1. That's the form. So I'm playing a B 7th chord here, 6th string 7th, 4th string 7th, 3rd string 8th. Okay, and finally the C sharp minor, which is a minor form. You're just playing it on the 9th fret. Okay, so the walk-up is F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A major, C sharp minor, and B 7th. One more time. F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A major, C sharp minor, B 7th. All right. So that's basically the song. The last part that you need to get it and to put it all together is this idea of fourths. I like to start out slowly when I'm doing fourths. Obviously, you're playing a lot of licks in between to make it sound fluid and interesting. So, that sort of stuff. I'm using fourths. I'm trying to use fourths on all of those licks. And fourths are simply, let's go back to our pentatonic scale up here, the E major pentatonic. Okay, this is the 12th fret right here. So it would be this. So the scale in fourths, and realizing that there is one perfect third in here, is this. So here I'm going to play the scale in fourths. And think about it this way. You're playing, on each string you're going to play 2 notes. One on the bottom string, one on the top. So on the 6th string you play the 6th. So let's take this first, 4th, right here. This is on the 9th fret, 6th string, and the 9th fret, 5th string. The next one is on the 12th fret, 6th string, 11th fret, 5th string. The next one is on the 5th string. We're playing the 9th fret, 5th string, and the 9th fret, 4th string. And so forth. All right, now if you play them as double stops, they sound like this. Kind of cool. Okay, let's do a couple of licks with those double stops, or with those fourths. So the main one that I'm doing right here is this one right here. So that one's pretty easy and straightforward. It's this right here. So here we're playing this fourth on the 4th and 3rd strings, and sliding it up on the 9th, sliding up to the 11th and back, and then playing the one here on the 9th and 9th on the 5th and 4th strings, and sliding that up to the 11th and giving that a lot of vibrato. Sounds pretty cool. Another one that works really well is this one. So we'll take this double stop right here, but we'll start it out by sliding this one up 2 frets and down. So that's on the 3rd and 2nd, right? This one right here. works really well, and you can do it the same way with the double stops on the first two strings. Oops. Anyway, play around a lot with that, get kind of comfortable with it. And then I want to show you one more thing. One thing that's really effective, Hendrix used it a lot. He uses it at the end of Castles Made of Sand sort of thing. It's just taking the same shape and moving it up along that pentatonic scale. So we're going to do the same thing right here with this one. Now, there's more to it than that, but try doing that in various places, and you're going to find a lot of licks that really work, and they sound fluid because you're moving quickly and you're keeping that same shape. Right? Okay, so that one happens to be 11th. I'm just using the 3rd and 4th strings, and we'll go from the 11th to the 9th. From the 9th to the 6th, from the 6th to the 4th, and back up. Now technically, on one of those strings you're going to have to find out where the pattern breaks and use a different form. You can see that by, if we look at our pentatonic box up here, look at the 3rd and 2nd strings, and you can see that, right? The shapes are different. So at that point, you can either ignore it and just play the same shape, which Hendrix did a lot, and it sounds great. Notice I didn't play the 4th on this one. Or you can play it yourself and get it. But if you combine those two things, understanding the pentatonic fourths and then how to move them along one string, essentially the 2-string pattern, you can come up with a lot of cool licks. All right. Well, we put it all together. It kind of sounds a little bit like this. I hope you had fun with this one. Have a lot of fun playing and trying to sound the best that you can, like Mayer or like Hendrix, and may the fourths be with you. Oh, God. All right, we'll see you on down the road.